There's plenty of Christmas traditions, but here's one perhaps you haven't heard of: the Christmas pickle. It involves hanging a pickle ornament on a Christmas tree. The first child to find the pickle gets an extra present. If you're all grown up, finding the pickle apparently brings you good fortune in the new year. Many thought this was a German tradition, but a New York Times survey showed barely anyone in Germany had ever heard of the Christmas gherkin. So how did this become a tradition? The most solid theory is it's a marketing gimmick. In the late 1880s, American stores began selling glass ornaments imported from Germany in the shapes of fruits and vegetables. It's unclear why, but the pickle caught on as a Christmas ornament, maybe because it's green and hard to find in a tree. But there are two other common theories that are much more intriguing. One tale features a soldier in the Civil War who was born in Germany. He was taken prisoner and begged a guard for one last pickle before he died. Amazingly, the pickle gave him the mental and physical strength to live. When the soldier returned to his family, he started the tradition of hiding a pickle on the Christmas tree every year. The other legend is connected to St. Nicholas, who found two young boys trapped in a pickle barrel and set them free. But it's most likely that a salesman with a lot of oddly shaped ornaments to sell invented the legend of the Christmas pickle. Look at that happy pickle.
Look at that. That was fascinating. I have never heard of a Christmas pickle.
Now you know more than you perhaps thought you'd ever know about the Christmas pickle. That's why we call it the why.